My own organization, the Global Center for the Responsibility to Protect, and I echo the calls of everyone else here on this panel, thinks that this report, in a way, really constitutes, I think, a milestone for victims of systematic and widespread um, violations and abuses in Venezuela. An independent HRC mandated mechanism, as you said, David, has documented that they, in fact, may amount to crimes against humanity. And I think this is something that, we have seen from human rights defenders and activists from Venezuela who have been reporting, documenting, collecting information, warning about this for many, many years. But to have an independent UN mechanism, to have this in writing by such a mechanism, this is remarkable because it really sheds light on the experience of victims and their families who are still waiting for justice to this day, but who also know that the perpetrators are actually still out there, and a lot of them actually remain in very high positions of power. And there are many, many different aspects about the report that I think are really worth a discussion. But let me focus on one thing that really struck me the most. The narrative of the report that has, the narrative that has come out since the report was published is very much on accountability, and this is absolutely essential. The fact-finding mission has specifically encouraged UN member states to consider legal actions on a national level. It has mentioned, the role of the International Criminal Court. And this is really why such an investigative mechanism, and we've seen this with other examples and they've been mentioned before, are really crucial in contributing to accountability processes. But I think that this report, to me, it does something else, which is really important. In the world of atrocity prevention and R2P and in our work, we oftentimes use words like warning signs and risk factors. When we talk about country situations where we fear that there is a risk of atrocity crimes being committed. And this report, to me, does precisely that. It outlines structures of power, it outlines a clear state policy, and it also outlines, that the state policy is being pursued at the highest level of government, of security, and intelligence. And so what it does is it really helps us to understand that the government, which has, committed possible crimes against humanity in the reporting period, it's not just that these crimes have taken place, but that all the institutional and the structural factors which have in fact facilitated the commission of these crimes, they remain in place today. We have high-level officials, again, on a presidential, ministerial level, intelligence, security, who are still in power. The security forces that have been identified as the main perpetrators have not been dismantled, have not been reformed. There are no genuine investigations on a domestic level. And the government of Venezuela, as you have pointed out, David, is not cooperating with the human rights system, including genuine cooperation with the Office of the High Commissioner, and also, of course, including cooperation with the fact-finding mission, which is shameful considering that they are on the council. And in addition to that, a gradual erosion of democratic space and the rule of law, and this is clearly outlined in the report, has contributed to really an environment which just enables these violations and abuses. The fact-finding mission has made very concrete recommendations, not towards other bodies or agencies, but specifically towards the government of Venezuela. Cease public rhetoric, ensure investigations, reform the security forces, stop using military tribunals, cooperate with UN human rights mechanisms. So what this report does to me, in addition to pushing for accountability and providing us with all the information that we need, and that is crucial. But in addition to that, it also really helps us to understand what has to fundamentally change and what has to be reformed on a national level, on an institutional level, to reduce the risk that these crimes continue. So I'll end here, and I look forward to the discussion. Thanks a